The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health and mindset issues and create a custom, natural, holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I can certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. I have, and I have staying power. And it's actually been over 11 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from childhood to adulthood due to foot pain. And now I've done 8 half marathons. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods, high-quality essential nutrients, and my coaching is for optimizing your health, efficiently release weight when needed, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their actions and results. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. That's why it's really important to have a positive mindset to succeed in life. It's also imperative to manage your emotions and release those low vibrational emotions such as fear, frustration, and doubt, because all they're going to do is slow you down and get you stuck physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon that has ballast, I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and uplift to a happier, healthier life. In turn, they are releasing their stress and they're reshaping their core beliefs. You will see and feel the differences with my coaching programs. Ask me about them. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives, DebiChangesLives, as in Victory ES.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And I will guide you to that better, healthier, happier life with custom solutions unique for you in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Now, my collaboration with Carly Trimble, that dog psychologist and dog trainer, has been postponed to the fall. Stay tuned. Currently, businesses are stressing and struggling to rise above the noise and with their marketing their businesses. Last year, I discovered the great discovery to market my programs worldwide. I love that they have affiliates throughout the world that will market my programs. That saves me time and money, and it gives me a broader reach globally for my programs. On my show today, I am honored to have Tim Taylor, the founder and co-CEO of The Great Discovery. It's interesting, Tim and I have some colleagues in common. Tim has played a pivotal role in starting, organizing, and scaling businesses from startups to global corporations. And with The Great Discovery, he's done it again. It is a growing online education marketplace that is reaching nearly 200 countries and regions. The Great Discovery is that global monetized e-learning platform that connects content creators and service providers with learners and customers in almost every country and language. The company's primary mission is to empower humanity by closing the global knowledge gap and enable regular people everywhere to have access to life-improving knowledge previously unattainable to them. The Great Discovery is the fourth generation of Six Sigma. Tim and his wife, Sandra Harry, are owners of the Six Sigma Management Institute, founded by Michael Harry, Dr. Michael Harry, the co-creator of Six Sigma, which is recognized by MIT as one of the top business innovations of the last 150 years. We'll be discussing how global learning can help close the knowledge gap. So let's welcome Tim Taylor, the founder and co-CEO of The Great Discovery. Tim, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Debbie. Good to be here. And I didn't even know all that stuff about us. That's fantastic. Wow.
You're welcome. I really do adore this platform, and there's a lot of potential in it for anybody that wants to be a creator. And that's why I'm sharing it on my show today, because it's going to relieve a lot of stress about marketing, in my opinion. So that's me in a nutshell. There are millions of talented teachers, coaches, and service providers that have powerful knowledge to share, but often they're limited by language, geography, and platform access. Now, what's holding these change makers back from reaching the people who they need to reach the most?
That is a really insightful question, and I, like know lots of change makers, as you call them, coaches, trainers, people that have invested their lives in developing their talents for two purposes. One is to empower other people, but two is to get the monetary rewards that come from it. Debbie, I think one of the things that is one of the primary setbacks, besides what we call restraining forces in the Six Sigma world, but it comes into really complacency, where you get into, this is the way things have always been done. This is my comfort zone. And we often are resistant to step out of it. In the learning world, in the teaching and coaching world, the comfort zone is what we've always done. Maybe it's going out and building your list, right? You build your list, you build your community, and those are the people that know, like, and trust you. You've got that reputation with them. The limitations on them are usually they're people that speak your language. Few, unless you're bivocate, you can bilingual yourself, right? You have a difficult time being able to reach beyond that. So it's a barrier. I can't reach out to the Latino community. I can't reach the Vietnamese community, so I won't even try. Or we go and we hire a translator to come, an interpreter to come and interpret our content, and it just makes it long and tedious, so we tend to pull back. As a result, what that leaves is just a massive amount of the world population is totally outside the reach of your blessings, your gifts, the talents that God has given you to be able to reach out to other people and share it with them. I firmly believe that every gift that we have, believe it or not, isn't for us. It's for the people that it's entrusted to us to get to them, right?
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to. What you've learned about holistic health, great, you're healthy, but it's not just for you. It's to go out and share and help other people become healthy as well. People everywhere are sick. So the real question comes down to is, what can we do to reach out beyond our little ecosystem? Maybe it's a big ecosystem by some standards. For some people, maybe it's thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. But I know of no one that's in the billions, right? Yeah. So even you look at North America's population, with largely English speaking, not all, there's always pockets of people that are, multiple different languages, but that only represents about 4% of the world population. If our target market is just those people, my gosh, how many are we leaving out? People in developing markets that need better health, people in developing markets that need a new education, they need to upskill, they need to reskill, they need the opportunity to thrive rather than just survive. So I think the biggest limitations that are out there are, again, it comes down to just, this is what I've always done, and we're resistant to change. And frankly, goodness, 2 years ago, there's things that we're doing today that were quite literally impossible for the average person, but not anymore. And so now it's like, well, I'm doing pretty well. I've got a roof over my head. I've got everything I need. You know, I'm making X amounts of dollars per month. I'm happy. My clients love me. And so there's no reason to go expand out, right? And then on the other side of the fence, and when you really look at it from the shoes on the other foot of the people that are looking in going, oh my gosh, they're so blessed out there. I wish I could have some of what they have, and they can't because we can't. Before now, it's been difficult to share it with it.
Yeah, and you know, the problem about being in your comfort zone, you always need to stretch it. I used to have a rubber band that you would stretch because you need to learn and grow. And it's not just, you know, you get through high school and you're done. That's how you get to college, you're done. You need to learn and grow throughout your whole entire life. Not only does it give you variety, but also, you know, gives you more purpose in life to be able to share things with others like I have.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to run into. And as we all get older, you know, our wisdom is so important to share, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. So, from your perspective, what are the biggest barriers to global education today? Not just for learners, but those who want to teach or to serve others.
Well, I think it's twofold, and one of it goes back historical, and it is an underlying barrier that's been around since the early 1900s, and that's traditional education. Many of us, you know, were brought up, hey, you go to primary school, high school, go on to higher education. Yet the outcome in almost all of those cases since the 1900s has been one thing, or two things actually: become a consumer and become an employee. You're groomed for your job, for where you're going to go to work in the population in your role. What do you do? Right? It's a typical question. What's your job? What's your occupation? What company do you work with? Get that retirement plan, you know, working all the way through. So every thought, every class, every ringing bell going to the next one is preparing you for that job life, going from one job to another job, to maybe when you're 65 and you're too old to, except for you, to go out and you know, do all the stuff that you want, you know, that you want to do. Then you can retire and stay home and rot and watch TV shows, right?
Oh, nobody wants
And
that.
right. And so that's one of the biggest things with it. And so we've always looked at, really from the Six Sigma perspective. You tapped on it very lightly in the beginning. Six Sigma, which is our sister company, we own it still. We were the actual co-creators of Six Sigma. It was recognized as one of the top 10 business innovations, top 10 of the last 150 years, right? And
Yes.
what is that? You know, that means it's up there with the internet. It means it's up there with Henry Ford's assembly line, with AI itself, you know, with
Mhm.
fax machines and all those different innovations that have come along. And then there's this obscure title called Six Sigma. What the heck is that? What it's
Yeah.
about is peak performance, right? It's
Oh,
about breaking through barriers. It's about reducing defects. It's about strategizing. It's doing the dreaming, starting with the end in mind, what you want to become, and laying out that path. That's why every major company in the world has adopted, or they're not a major company, period. It is that prevalent in industry today. So with the great discovery as being the fourth generation of that, we take that same mindset. In fact, that actual cognitive roadmap, the way of thinking, and apply it to everything that we do. And so that's where I think real change comes. When you say Debi changes lives, great discovery changes lives by enabling Debi to get her message out, right?
yeah.
Not just to your local ecosystem, but everyone and everywhere in the world, places that you never could possibly even dream of reaching before. So when you talk about what are some of the primary limitations of people, well, we tapped on language, right? And
Right.
mindset and things that are like there. But some of the other ones are, you know, really how do you establish a relationship in different markets and different places? If you wanted to teach people in Saudi Arabia that really need their health and wellness and things, if that was your tactic, what that was your gift that you wanted to put out there, how are you going to get them to like, know, and trust you enough to pay you for your content? And so those are different things that are, again, restraining forces. So when we looked at the Great Discovery, we actually launched this as a platform about 3 years ago. And the initial focus was rolling out our Great Discovery course. It's a 12 or 14 week, depends how fast you go, right?
Yeah.
12 or 14 week course. And step 0, the very first thing is you start with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish? I want to be a concert pianist. I want to buy my first home. I want to be a computer programmer. I want to get healthy. I want to get rid of cancer. I want to save my marriage, whatever it may be. What the Great Discovery does, it puts them on a proven path to get in there. They're going to do the dreaming. They're going to dream where they want to be. They're going to dream the doing, envision what it's going to take to be able to get there, plan the doing, and do the plan. It's working backwards. And so when we rolled that out, we had one big hole. And that's the big hole is no matter how well we teach and share and empower people to be able to get their way of thinking in sync to where they can overcome every obstacle. Nothing is impossible, nothing. But still, you want to teach somebody that they want to learn to be a concert pianist, eventually they got to learn how piano keys work, right? Music, tempo, rhythm, how the function of it all goes and lays out chords and all that. So we felt, okay, what are we going to do? Create a giant referral network and refer people all around the world to different teachers? That didn't seem very Six Sigma-like, right? So we decided to go vertical. And what we've done is created a global education, or actually a global empowerment marketplace.
Yes.
Where we're taking content and materials by experts of all different genres, every type of, classes or learning or knowledge that can be even fathomable that people need. And we created a platform and a mechanism to get it out worldwide. So what we've been doing over the last few years is building this massive platform. And God willing, it will be the largest e-learning community in the world by far. There's others out there, Udemy, Kajabi, everyone uses them. They're great. They're doing really good. Yet when you compare it with what we've pulled together for Empower Humanity, which is our purpose, there's just no comparison. We are truly a category creator, Debbie. There's nothing like it. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. And you're opening up the doors for a lot of people. Now, one thing that's changing a lot of people's lives right now, AI is changing nearly every industry.
Yeah.
Educational space, do you see it as a threat or as a tool that can actually expand human potential and opportunity?
Well, I think the old saying that always comes to mind when you said that is, everything in moderation, right? You can drink too much water, it'll kill you. There's everything good if too much is going to be go on the negative side. Too much air will blow you up, right?
Yes.
It's I think with AI, I think from a perspective of, we had some really good friends that were at a conference in India in February. And this conference was kind of behind the firewall, as they call it, outside, beyond what the public is typically seeing as far as disclosures of what AI is and what it does and so forth. And, the takeaway from that conference, and it was attended by every major tech head in the world was there. And the takeaway from that conference was the transition that's coming and is already on the move now is enormous. It's beyond most people's potential to even comprehend. Just take the service industry, for example. You're looking at, within a very short period of time, and we're not talking years, we're talking months, you're going to be seeing up to an 80% shift in the service industry. Think about it: attorneys, doctors, accountants, writers, authors, creators, all types of people in service are being literally displaced to a certain extent with AI. So what does that leave, dude? Is like, okay, what I've always done, and we're going full circle back around to that fear of change.
Yeah.
What I've always done is going to change. What happens? That's where the fear comes from, right?
Yes, it is.
Instead
exactly.
of, there's an adapt.
They don't
So
know.
on the upside with it, we've all seen the apocalyptic stories of AI conquering the world and some sort of antichrist creature or something coming up out of AI and taking over everything. And I think that whether we like it or hate it, some things you can change, some things you can't. AI is here to stay, and it's going to continue to evolve. So taking that as a milestone, you got to deal with, okay, that's there. It's probably not going to change. It may, but it's probably not. So what do you do with it? Do you adopt it? Do you sphere it? I think you need to embrace it to a certain extent and recognize some of the good side of it. What's the upside?
Yeah.
AI can do almost all of the menial work that you or I have done that have held us back for years. Example, I've written quite a few books. I've written, a lot of I'm a creator like you are. We create content, we create stuff. And the typical project would take me years, sometimes at least months, to roll out something that was, that was a marketable commodity, to really get it up on the charts, right? And some projects took a lot longer than that. Now, if you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, the structure, the organization, the layout, the research, and you're not using AI to do that, you're not going to be able to compete in a couple of years. It's that big of a shift. And if you're not adapting it, it's either going to master you or you're going to master it. You're going to be one of the percentage of people that are utilizing AI to be at the top of the network rather than the ones that are used at the bottom and are on the dole. Here's your stay-at-home money to be happy, and AI will take care of you. It's like, yeah, okay, sounds like slavery to me. But it's I look at it from the perspective of what it can do in being able to. I mean, goodness, we can create and format a book in minutes that used to take hours. Now, you can't say AI write my book for you. It'll write something, but you need to, it's still your genius that's going into it, but let it do most of the organization and layout.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, a lot of the marketing things and tools that we've done, and things that we spend so much time on. I mean, you're in the holistic line. How much time do you have to spend figuring out, I've got to learn this funnel system or that system to go out, and I got to get more customers in here to me? Or if you're a coach or a trainer, where's your next paycheck is dependent on your next client coming in.
Yes.
And so we're constantly on the hunt for new clients, and we're in the same ecosystem of people that are looking for, we're all competing for the same clients. What if you can move into virgin territory? What if you had AI tools and translations and you can communicate flawlessly with any person on the planet and have the systems doing all the work to let them know that you've got something that they're looking for? Would that make a difference? Yeah. Then the real question comes is, if you get a flood of new business, how can you possibly keep up? I'm working too much as it is, right?
Yes.
But you can only keep up if you're more efficient. So where it comes back to Six Sigma is, hyper efficiency is really where it comes down to. The more efficient that you are, the more people that you can serve, and the greater the rewards. They're talking about quadrillions in wealth transfer. Quadrillions, that's a big number. I don't even know how big it is, but that's coming through AI. And so back to the core of your question, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I think it's going to depend on your mindset and what you do with it. If you sit back and wait for it to save your life, or if you're writing poems on ChatGPT, you're missing the boat. Learn about it, find out what you can do, be aware of the dangers of it, and also be aware of the blessings. There's blessings and curses with everything. So that's my perspective, right?
Yes, and it's also something to learn about and grow with your business to help it be more successful. So it's not necessarily all that bad. Now, you've mentioned that people on your platform can actually earn while they learn. And that's a shift from the traditional educational model. Why is the model of monetization, you know what I'm talking about, learning so important right now?
Well, Let's say that some of the things that I just mentioned, some of the shifts in employment, is going to move over into blue collar work before it's not going to be too far behind. Robotics will start doing a lot of the things where, we've relied on cheap overseas labor before. Now it's going to be a highly competitive world where robotics will equalize, a lot of the production things, and, manual labor will be, quite simply resolved through automation, right? So that's going to leave a lot of people with, what do we do now? And the way we formatted this is, again, what sets us apart from many of the other e-learning communities that are out there is typically, let's say you go to Udemy, great platform, great people there. A lot of great creators put their content up there on Udemy. Yet the limitations are, you go up there and two things happen. It's one, it's only in one language. Maybe there's subtitles, or you hire an interpreter to create a translation for you, and they lose your passion, they lose your speaking style and energy. They're just reading off a paper, right? But the other side of it is, there's one person doing the marketing. You're paying them a good portion of your revenue to park your content up on their site. But the only person that's marketing is you. You might have a few people stumble across it and they're doing a search and find you on their platform. Same thing with other great platforms, or models like Kajabi, similar type of a program. You build your web page, your presentation thing, you webhook it into there, but it's still in one language, and the primary salesperson is you. You're limited, but with a little bit of improvement in efficiency. But with the great discovery, what we've enabled creators to be able to do is take their content and put it up. It's instantly available in 120 languages. I'm not talking subtitles. I mean, it's Debbie Voris speaking, and people are hearing you in Spanish and Portuguese and Egyptian and, any language under the sun. But moreover, where it comes back to your question, is as people are learning, what we wanted to be able to do, instead of Debbie being the one going out and having to constantly promote, is people that are being empowered by your material, simply by referring others, they're getting a compensation as well. One of the biggest restrainers in the education world today is cost. It's like, okay, I just got laid off from my job. I've got to reskill, I've got to upskill, I've got to find something else to do. How much time do you really have, and how much money do you have to really go out and go to night school? You got 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet until you get into your new career path. What we've enabled people to do is, let's say someone comes on, they want to take a course on computer programming while they're learning to code, right? They're able to go out and refer others to holistic health, another one on advanced fishing techniques, another one on, anything, life coaching. It could be any topic, math, reading, writing, whatever, any topic under the sun. By simply making those referrals, they're creating an economic opportunity. When we look at empowering humanity through knowledge, it's not just knowledge that does it, because knowledge is a means, but it's a means to sustenance. And you apply your knowledge to be able to get the monetary things in this world we need in order to survive. So, by simply referring others, they're able to, one, promote creator content in every language in other different countries. Example, Debbie, you put your content up and it's in Egypt, right? And they speak Arabic, Egyptian Arabic over there, and you don't. And they're going to say, oh my gosh, here's this lovely American lady, and she is really seems to know her stuff here, but she speaks strangely fluent Arabic for whatever reason. I don't know. And but they don't know you. It's unlikely they're going to come and drop into spend $1,000 or $50 or whatever your price point is for whatever offer that you have there. But what they do when they have a local network of people that they know within their community saying, hey, yeah, this is really good stuff, you should go look into it. It's the referral type of a network is one aspect of it. So they're compensated for that. But it also gives you local language representation. So people can be either a learner that's, in their part-time telling friends, family, and community members of great content that can empower them. Then there's also, what we call super affiliates that are using some advanced AI tools and marketing systems and digital, outreach programs to really get that message out. But either way, what they're doing is driving traffic to people like you, people like me, people that are creators. And at the same time, they're creating economic opportunity for themselves. If you look in a developing market, sometimes, even as wacky as it is here in our country, and certain times depends on the shifts and things that are happening. But you look into a developing market where there's absolute poverty, abject poverty. The point is, where do you get a job? What do you do? But at the same time, we can create opportunity. While one person is learning a new skill or a new talent, something that they can advance and serve others, they can actually help create an economic opportunity while they're learning, just by sharing that same material or similar material with others. And they're getting paid to be able to do that. So it's kind of like Uber for education. It's an interesting way of looking.
It really sounds like it, really. Now, let's forecast 5-10 years from now. What's the future vision for education they need to do today to make sure the future is inclusive, is more empowering, and more human, which is kind of important?
Well, that's where some of the shift comes in. And again, some of the plus, the positive and the negative, for good or for bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we're going to start seeing is it's already happening. Is there is a shift from traditional education. You're starting to see whether it's political or by other means, changes to the Department of Education and centralized knowledge. Here's what you're taught, regardless of where you're at. All the same thing, consumer and employee, and moving on up the ladder. Where I think what we're going to begin seeing is a lot more people with the upside of AI is people are able to get any knowledge that's at their fingertips. You can learn whatever you need to learn. We've brought on several different colleges, particularly in Asia and some developing areas. Their plan was originally to go out and create satellite campuses in different locations at fairly enormous cost, at least for them. And what they're able to do is by teaching people remotely, anyone with a digital device, anyone with a smartphone, anyone with internet access, which is virtually everywhere today, is now able to be empowered to get their education at home.
Yeah.
I look at the COVID situation that we went through, and there's lemons and lemonade with that. Lemons, it was horrible. A lot of people got really sick. A lot of people lost their lives. All of us were disrupted. Lemonade, we're able to do what we're doing now. We're able to communicate. Your grandparents, if they're still alive, are on Zoom. They're sharing, they're communicating. So people were forced to be able to adapt out of an environment because they were comfortable there. There's no reason to not go down to everything had to be drive across town for your meetings and everything. Now we're able to communicate with virtually anyone in the world at almost any time. And with some of the things like what the Great Discovery is doing, we have Zoom that's embedded in our channels that I can speak to you in Spanish. If I spoke Spanish, you'd hear me in English, right? 41 languages, full duplex communication. You can talk to anyone in the world. Think about what that does for education on a longer term, 5 to 10, 20-year basis. Mm-hmm. Down the road on that, my goodness. In a developing economy, typically if it's a small language country, for example, let's say take Vietnam, there's 80 million Vietnamese speakers. Yes, the language of business, and even in Vietnam is still largely English or Chinese, right? So they're working on that. But those that are Vietnamese learners, their sole source of input is from Vietnamese educators. So they're a smaller pool, smaller source of knowledge. They're limited into what they have access to. Now, with shifts that are happening in education, you can get information from experts from any culture, from anywhere in the world, all at your fingertips in real time. And that's where I think the shift is going. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more homeschooling. I think it's going to see a tremendous movement in the homeschooling networks. I think we're also going to see some tremendous shifts in what used to be degree programs and things like that. I think there's always a higher education, but that higher education is no longer limited to an Ivy League school. It can be delivered to you right there at your home. If you've got the desire and the ability to learn it, you can learn anything that you want right where you're at without going anywhere. The real question is, what will you do with that knowledge when you get it, right?
Yes.
And so some people say lifelong learning. I'm a lifelong learner. It's like, well, you're a lifelong poor person too. If you're not doing something with that knowledge, you got to get out and apply it, right? Apply it without, it's just a waste of space, or you fill up your brain with stuff if there's not an outcome to it, right?
Yes. Exactly.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Well, I think for colleges, it'd be very beneficial to, especially if it's in a music field, to, attract people to what they have to offer. And it could be something different than what's on their curriculum in that particular college, but it could be, something to really attract, high class, high valuable people that have the skills to play an instrument like the clarinet. My son actually plays the clarinet. So that's my whole point, is that, if people are just open to it, I've known that there's some tutors that are open to it, make their life a little bit easier to get more work instead of the agency they're using. Things like that. I mean, it's just a different way of working and marketing your services, and they could be worldwide.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Even localized, in America, we're a melting pot, and it's being where you are in Huntington Beach, California. If you don't speak Spanish at some level or another, there's a large portion of people that could use and benefit greatly from your services, but can't, because you can't communicate with them. Now you can, right? Likewise, the Vietnamese communities in Southern California and elsewhere. Forget the localized thing. You can reach out anywhere in the world now. Debi's market just got global. I mean, you've added, 8.2 billion people to your marketplace at the snap of a finger.
Exactly. And you don't need to be multilingual like my mother was.
Right.
Anyways, but if you want to, you can, and you can teach others. So let's discuss your offer right now. To give you a little more time for that. Now, one thing that Tim wants you to do is to go to the Great Discovery. So it's greatdiscovery.com / and my podcast name, Debi Changes Lives with no spaces. There you can actually see my free offer at bit.ly Debi free offer. Now, this is a big reveal right now. This is his offer coming up. So if you can go to the next slide. And you always ask me questions, about this. Now go to the next slide. Okay, so I was shocked when you showed me this. I was like, wow. So why don't you explain it a little bit better?
Sure will, Debi. What it all comes down to is we wanted to put something together that will enable the average person to actually blow the doors off of every restraining force that's held back their coaching business, their training business, their teaching, their tutoring, their whatever it is that they're at. Podcasters that are like yourself that are out, you put your podcast up and you're able to put it out, and you've probably got a great following because you got a great show. Yeah,
Right.
What happens if you even took the replays of that and posted it into 119 additional languages? What's going to happen there? Take Joe Rogan, the example. Great, massive podcast, but all in English. If we took Joe's replays and hosted them in the Great Discovery, he'd be reaching billions of people rather than millions. It's a fact. It would actually happen. So with the offer that we pull together is we want to enable creators, teachers, service providers, software companies, coaches, anyone that really has a message. Maybe you're just looking to create an additional gig economy to do something to augment your income. Maybe you got a great cookie recipe or some crafts that you've been working on. We're giving you a platform to be able to monetize that, to put your content, to put your offers up, and have them promoted around the world, 200 countries and territories, 120 languages, a growing army of individuals that are sharing and promoting your content for you in those different countries. And we do that with a little system that's called the Creator and Marketer Suite. What that gives you on the Creator and Marketer Suite with the Great Discovery is, one, it gives you the ability to upload unlimited content. There's no limit on what you can put in. You can put in as many podcasts, as many courses or offers or digital services that you want. Second, it's all automatically translated for you into 120 languages on demand. Wherever they are in the world, they click on it, they're going to hear you, your offer, your material, visually and audibly in their native language. Third, it's also going to be adjusted to local economic scale. Example, if you're buying something here and where we are in the United States, $1,000 course is quite palatable. Most people can do that. You do that in Kenya, yeah, not so much. You'll sell zero. And so what we allow is our content to float to the CPI, the economic indicator of different countries. So it's affordable in different countries, or you can lock it down. You have your choice. So we give you the whole flexibility to go global with your material. What's more, as an option that's on there, you have the ability to take another additional subscription that gives you every advanced AI tool that you could ever imagine, all in one spot. The tools that you need to assist you in learning on steroids, to get more information and research faster, to market things in ways, funnel builders, website builders, complete social media campaign builders, all content creation, images, all of it, all done in one spot. To be able to create content, books, audio books, converting things in minutes, your voice or any voice, any language, anywhere, and put it all out.
There's so much you can do with this. There really is. So you're going to be saving $150.
Yeah.
And just an example, in the United States, it's $649 right now. So it's $499 for the basic pack. That doesn't include that subscriptions at all. But if you want more information, you want to go to bit.ly/TG, that's TGD for the Great Discovery, Tim Taylor video offer as one word. And you'll hear him go into more detail about everything. And if you want to sign up, you go to bit.ly/TGD Tim Taylor promo sign up. And that's where you get this offer. And you would ask me questions. And I can help you out and answer the best I can.
Yeah, it'd be great. One last thing with that offer, guys, it was set to expire on June 30th. And what we're doing is we're extending it just for Debi's podcast group. If you're on here watching this live or by replay, you can take advantage of that offer and save $150. And here's a cool part. If you refer 3 others, yours is free. You get your entire money back, and there's no monthly if you decide to opt in on subscription. Waived, free, totally good. You got your content out around the world and no cost to you, just by helping 3 other people. Who do you know that needs help?
Yeah, well, this is a very valuable offer. Thank you, Tim. And do you want to be a guest again?
Well, I would love to be a guest again. Thank you, Debi. And as you know, you mentioned some of our kind of relations of people that we know where we run in the same circles. And I've been in holistic healing for decades, and largely from structuring and investing in different companies and promoting them. And I love the work that you're doing. We got to connect. I can't wait to get back on one from a health and wellness perspective. Functional nutrition is our game. We love it.
Okay. Well, I want you to stick around for closing remarks, okay?
Okay, you got it.
Now, remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of heart. I do start with the gut, but there's many other health situations I can help you with. I guide you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrient products that will reduce symptoms. You'll feel better, possibly release weight, and uplift your mood. With my mindset coaching, I help you release your emotions, stress, emotional entanglements, and you will be reshaping your mindset. Your mindset will be more enhanced. With my health optimization and weight release, your body will be more efficient. So that is the mind-body solution that makes your heart and soul sing. So you would reach out to me and ask me about my programs and my complimentary on my Linktree, which is at debiechangeslives.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And there you get to know me, I get to know you, and I guide you to your optimum health. You go to the next slide, and it begins with 1 or 2 assessments. The health evaluation is actually complimentary, where you will rate your symptoms in the last 30 days in 4 categories of health. Some questions are in multiple categories. Answer them all. You get a baseline score. I'll review it with you. And when you move forward with my services, I'll create that custom natural holistic strategy for you and monitor on a monthly basis. I also have 2 different Zydo body scans, and I love Zydo's Vizira link because I'm actually sending it to Australia and South Africa. And Vizira is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send a link to your phone. You scan your face for 30 seconds. It's only looking at blood flow. That's it. For components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. It generates, and I love that emotional component because it's such a hidden gem. It generates a wellness report, not a diagnosis, of biomarkers out of range and products and services that bring back into range. It's quite an intensive report, so I do review it with you. It costs $75. If you move forward with my program or product, I'll give you a $25 discount. And also that Vizira link is actually it's a transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TOI. You can look up its accuracy at pubmed.gov. That's PUBMED.gov to see how accurate it is. People are really amazed how their body is telling them all this information. So curious, go to my consultation, ask me questions, or get it done and see what they're talking about. Also on my site is my 12-week weight release mindset coaching program, where you're going to be actually using a new version of you for your success. All coaching is on Zoom, and the first one for because I'm doing the health assessments is private to you. I also give you a choice between 2 meal plans, instructions on one, and how to create that new version of you and an avatar bar that will drive your emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformation goals. The rest of the coaching, whether it's in group or private, is the same. We'll be celebrating our wins. You'll be utilizing your boards. I'll guide you over gaps with health and mindset tips. Of course, I'll ask your questions. If you have any questions regarding this program, go to the consultation, ask me questions, or you can go to my previous episode, Holistic Self-Love, for more information. Just remember, my prices have gone up. YFAST, the intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and turn business your metabolism with rich, dense nutrition and high-quality essential nutrients, and a program of exercise and recipes. If you think you need some coaching, then there's a 2 or 4-week program that you can utilize. Of course, you can use these smaller programs for mindset and health optimization, but truly that could be a longer journey. You'd be better off with a larger program, or I create a custom program for you. I'm running out of time, but I do have something called Debbie's Coaching Chats. It's a 30-minute coaching session in an intimate group setting, and there's several topics that we can cover based on a survey. These are at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So you go to Debbie Changes Lives, DEBICHANGESLIVE as in victory ES.com/chats to see what my coaching is all about. Finally, learn more about alternative health by finding out about my services, programs, products, offers, articles, blogs, up-and-coming shows, and promos by subscribing to my newsletter at debiechangeslives.com/radio TV show, all in lowercase. And I give you a gift of a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal where you can record your gratitudes, thoughts, feelings, emotions, foods, water, supplements, and exercise you've done on a daily basis. You even track your measurements. You want to review it, find your gaps, and if you need to get over your gaps, you contact me for coaching. I am certain that you found this show entertaining, eye-opening, and enjoyed it. Reach out to me for my services, products, and offers, and reach out to me for questions regarding Tim's offer as well with The Great Discovery, which again is at thegreatdiscovery.com/Debbie Changes Lives. Do we have time for Tim to come back?
Hi there.
Hi. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, other than thank you for having me so much for having me on here, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'd like to hear a little bit about that free course that you put up. I think it was navigating your way through a toxic world.
How to navigate the toxic world.
Right? And that's a course on the Great Discovery platform that you can listen to in any language. Check it out.
Yeah, and I'm going to have more in a Google Doc on the description for the show. So thank you for being here. Continue to enjoy my radio and TV show, Debbie Changes Lives, on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.